There we go. Hey, everybody. Let me quickly share my screen and we'll get kicked off. There we go. All right. Can everybody see my screen? I'm assuming we're all good. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the global launch event for the AI Collective. Uh, Give me a Remoji if you have been to a Gen AI Collective event before. See how many Remojis we get. Okay. I'm seeing a lot. This is great. Well, perfect. Um, well, welcome to your first AI Collective event. And thank you for being a part of this very significant moment in our history. Okay, for those of you that signed up, you probably signed up for one of these two events, right? Uh, we originally had the global launch event as a special event, a mystery event. And I know many of you signed up then. Thank you for taking a bet and seeing what it's turned into, which is the global launch of the AI Collective. In fact, this is only one of 10 celebrations we have this week. So, this is the virtual launch event, but we are also hosting in person launch events all across the world. I was fortunate enough to be at the San Francisco event last night and I had a great time. We've got, what is it, a couple more events going on today in Austin and Toronto. So, if you happen to be in any of the towns listed there, highly recommend you go there and visit us in person. So this is so much more than a simple rebrand. Yes, this is our old logo. This is our new logo. But there's a lot more behind the scenes that's been going on here. In fact, this has been a process that's been 6+ months in the making. One of the biggest things we noticed when we were expanding globally, expanding to new cities, is just how much things needed to change as we grew in size as a community. So we originally hashed this idea probably back in August of last year, and it's been a lot of work. As you can see, this was some filming we did, I think back in April or May, and I'll show you some more photos. This is when Catherine and I got together and we were shipping out packages to 23 different cities all around the world, shipping out all of the new swag and stuff to host these launch events. It's been a really big process. And of course, it's not just been Catherine and myself, it's been a whole team, a team of over 100 people who have helped us get here. So, a huge round of applause to everybody who's been a part of this awesome rebrand process. So, why the new name, right? Why Gen AI Collective to the AI Collective? Two very important reasons. One is our deepening why, and two is our broadening scope. All right. I'm going to go through each one in detail, but before I do, I want to talk about why the Gen AI Collective, why this logo and this name will always be so important, even as we keep moving forward. I want to go back to our very first event that we hosted here in San Francisco over 2 years ago. This is us bringing together a dozen founders, investors, researchers in the heart of Silicon Valley, right after the launch of ChatGPT, just trying to make sense of this technology that is moving so quickly. We had so much fun gathering around this first living room table, and little did we know or understand this would be the first of what became hundreds and hundreds of events much like it. Fast forward to the third event, and we already had over 250 people sign up to be part of these small, intimate living room discussions. We had clearly caught lightning in a bottle. This is when we decided to put the Gen AI Collective logo and brand behind this budding community that was starting to be created. Fast forward to March, the end of that month, and we went from hosting this one single discussion group to bringing together an entire community and hosting 36 discussion groups in one evening across a dozen different groups and hosting that three different times. We were so invested in making this event the best we could. We even built a custom script to assign groups for every single person that was at the event to make sure they were meeting as many new people as possible. And that's something we carry forward, that sort of attention to detail, something we carry forward with us to today. So the rest of that year in 2023, we ended up hosting events for 40 straight weeks here in San Francisco. And these events were anything but the same. In fact, they were almost always in a different venue, trying a different format and figuring out what worked best. And we had so much fun doing it, all as volunteers. The very last event, this is, I think, our 50th event that we hosted in San Francisco that first year. It was a holiday party. And we talked a little bit, gave it the first hint about what the deeper why for this community was. This graph is very important. I'm going to come back to it in a little bit, but look at that exponential, that knee in the curve. We're going to come back to that in pretty great detail in just a moment. In May of 2024, last year, just about a year ago, we hosted our first demo night. Now, I'm guessing many people here currently at this global launch event have been to a demo night because we've now hosted these in close to 10 cities around the world. We've hosted almost a dozen here in San Francisco, and this has become our flagship gathering for the community. This is bringing together hundreds of community members, demoing 10 companies, up to 10 companies at a time at each event, some of the top AI startups in each city. And it's really a marvel to see how everybody comes together. You see, we have the Demo Night app too. Hopefully, you've had the chance to use the Demo Night app. This is how we engage with the companies that are presenting at these events. At this point, you've had over 100, I think almost 200 companies demo at these SF demo nights and demo nights around the world. It's been so cool to be part of it. In 2024, we expanded all across the US. We ended up hosting AI events and starting chapters in the 10 largest cities for AI around the US. And in 2025, we went global. There was just so much grassroots enthusiasm in cities around the world, people asking to open chapters or asking for a presence where they were, that it's blossomed beautifully in the past half year or year or so. Where we are today is it's really turned into a global movement. We have over 70,000 members that are part of the community globally. We've hosted over 200 events in just over 2 years. We have over 100 team members that are now hosting events globally, all mission aligned, all volunteers who are very passionate about what we're doing here. And this is around 25 cities around the world. So this week marks a new era, right? You probably saw the post on Monday. You've seen the post all week. This is really a new era in our collective history. And I want to give you a sense of where we are now and where we're going. Who we are, quite simply, is a nonprofit grassroots community uniting 70,000 plus pioneers exploring the frontier of AI in major tech hubs worldwide. That pioneers exploring the frontier of AI, that's the most important part right there. I really love this visual. For me, this really resonates of us exploring what I consider the frontier of human progress. AI right now, this technology is moving so rapidly, and there's so much room to explore. There's so much room to build, innovate, create. And I genuinely believe this is going to bring so much good to the world. And we are fortunate enough, the people here at this event, the people in this community around the world are fortunate enough to be those pioneers on the frontier. So let me go back to why the new name, right? The two reasons are deepening why and our broadening scope. We're going to talk about both today, but I want to start with our deepening why because this is really important to me. If you've gone onto our website, we've kept it pretty hush hush because there's been so much more to announce this week. But we have this founding perspective called "Trust in the Age of Acceleration." It's a 6,000 plus word essay that I've been working on for almost half a decade now at this point, really trying to encapsulate our thoughts, my thoughts here on where we are in this point in history and the sense of responsibility that I think us pioneers of the frontier should have. Now, you can scan that QR code, you can go check it out now, but I want to give you a sense really briefly of what that is, what that why is. So let me start with my why. This is going to lead very naturally into our why as the collective, but I want to start with a little bit about myself. In 2021, when I was finishing up my senior year in college, I ended up writing my final paper on GPT-3 and the technological singularity, which had just come out at the time. You can actually see right there. Um, as I was doing my research for this, I went so much deeper than just looking at the model itself, the technology behind it. But as I dove more into the almost philosophical side of things and extrapolating where this technology goes over time, these two books are my Bible, by the way. I'm gonna reference a bunch of books throughout this little chat. But The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil and Life 3.0 are two books that really changed the way I look at everything and my whole perspective. During this research, there's one quote in particular that really struck me. Now, this is a long quote. I don't expect you to read the whole thing, but look at that bolded part. The first ultra intelligent machine is the last invention that man need ever make. I'm going to read it again. The first ultra intelligent machine is the last invention that man need ever make. When I read that quote, that really struck me. I'm somebody who really wants to have an impact on the world, and I believe a lot of the people in Silicon Valley and that are part of this AI world want to have a big impact on the world. And I do believe that what we're creating is a super intelligence which has so much capacity to do great. And when I read this and really internalized it, for me, this was something that I decided I want to dedicate my life to being part of this creation of super intelligence however I could. So I headed to what the frontier of human progress was, and that is the development of AI. Now, let me talk about what trust in the age of acceleration means, the title of this founding perspective, and let's break it down first into the age of acceleration. What do I mean by the age of acceleration? Well, you remember this graph, right? The graph from December of 2023 at the holiday party. I pulled it up again here, and this is from Wait But Why. Highly recommend their blog, by the way. This is progress, human progress through time. We are at a very important elbow in the curve right now. Let me show you another graph which shows you much the same thing, right? This is what I saw back in 2020, 2021 when GPT-3 came out. You see that same knee in the curve, right? Going from GPT-2 to GPT-3 and this 100x jump in the size of these models and almost a correspondingly 100x jump in the capability of these models. When I saw that, it deeply struck me. So I went going back looking at to what the trends are that led up to this. And there are some surprising trends. When you look, in fact, at the adoption of technology throughout history, throughout recent history, all the way back from the telephone and the internet to where we are with maybe social media and AI today, you see that our adoption of technology is getting ever more and more rapid. And this is not just within the last 100 years. You can actually look at the history of humanity going all the way back to stone tools a couple million years ago and see these compounding S curves that we are adopting new technologies and progressing faster than ever before. I'll do you one more, and we'll step back to the history of life on Earth, the 3.8 to 4.2 billion year history of life on Earth. This is a nice graph that takes 15 different studies and plots them, the most significant events in the history of life across this logarithmic curve. That's why it looks linear, it's actually logarithmic. And you see this exponential increase in the rate at which things are happening, in which we are seeing progress in life. Think about basic single cellular to multicellular to complex multicellular, all the way up to the civilizations that we have today. You see things getting ever more rapid, and it's a trend that we've seen for billions of years now. I'm going to pull it back into what we're seeing today with AI and show you how that exponential trend relates to what we see right now with AI. A lot of people think, and I frequently fall victim to this, that the distance between the intelligence of, say, a chimp, a dumb human, and an Einstein is very far away, right? And this was a graph from back in 2015, which is why it's down around that chimp level. I'd say we're more at dumb human level, or maybe a little bit above right now, but it feels like there's a big gulf there, right? For us, that's the gulf that we experience. Well, in reality, these things are a lot closer than they first appear. The distance between what is the intelligence of a dumb human and Einstein is a lot closer, and we can feel that right now. And I'll give you proof of that. So, this is a really cool site that tracks the IQ levels of AI models throughout time. And they're doing this every single week. If you look at mid 2024, this is May of 2024, you see that the very best models have IQs of a little under 100, right? A little dumber than your average human. You look at the AI models we have nowadays, and they're nearing 140 IQ. That's more than two standard deviations above average. This is all happening within the span of the last year. We've moved from that dumb human to Einstein in a matter of months, right? It's really crazy. Now, this quote has been making the rounds. This was just over a week ago. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, saying that up to 50% of all white collar jobs could be wiped out in the next 5 years. The future is already here. It's just unevenly distributed. And you actually already see this in big tech. In big tech, recent data, as you see with this quote, shows that hiring for new grads is already down 50% from pre pandemic. And I can tell you, speaking for my friends who are just graduating now, it's a really tough environment. And that's happening now, right? We really are in that elbow of the curve. This is a graph that I created myself. This is how I conceptualize. This is what makes a lot of sense to me. This is the same exponential curve that I showed you with technological progress or maybe change in our environment over time. And you see that exponential increase, right? At the same time, you can plot that against our human adaptive capacity. What is our capacity as humans to adapt to this technological change, to all the change around us? At best, it's slightly super linear. Maybe we're getting a little bit better over time, you could argue. I would say as our society is getting more complex, getting larger, I think we're actually going slightly down in our ability to adapt as a very large and complex society. Regardless of where you think that line is and what you think the slope is, when you're facing linear change versus exponential change, there's a gap, and that trust gap is what I call it. This is actually something that Alvin Toffler pointed out in his book Future Shock all the way back in 1970. He uses the term future shock. I use the term trust gap. This is the gap in our capacity as humans and as society to adapt to all this technological change we're seeing. And this is happening now. That gulf is only widening. Now, I'm saying things, right? Can I put some numbers behind it? In fact, I can. This is fascinating. These are Gallup polls. Gallup has been tracking for, I believe, almost 50 years now. Trust indicators. This is specifically in the US, but I think it applies globally as well. Across 62 different metrics for trust, everything from trust in the police to trust in the government to trust in big business, trust in the economy, trust in healthcare. 60 out of 62 of those metrics are at or near all time lows right now. And I'll tell you, specifically in the last 2 years, it has certainly not been getting better. I'm showing you here trust in major US institutions. Again, I think anecdotally, a lot of us can feel this, right? A lot of us can feel trust, even generalized trust in each other, trust in the person walking on the street eroding. The only two, by the way, fun fact, that are not at all time lows are those top two: trust in small business and trust in the military. Now, why is trust eroding, right? I like to read a lot of books. The book that has made the most sense for me, and I think looked at this, investigated it most deeply, is American Breakdown. Again, I'm using the United States as a microcosm for what we see globally. And they really point out three key causes for trust eroding. One is the elite gulf. This is the difference between how globalists tend to think and act versus how nationalists tend to think and act. You see this a lot right now with what we're seeing with trade wars and tariffs and stuff like that. Sheer size is the second reason. When you look at the largest companies in the world, they are larger, more dominant than ever before. The size of governments are larger than ever before. And that's a function of really the systems that we're in. That leads to remoteness and maybe a lack of agency, lack of feeling of control with what organizations are around us. And third and finally is the internet is great in so many ways, don't get me wrong. But one of the things it does do is erode what I call attentional regimes, or what actually Chris Hayes in the book The Sirens called attentional regimes. Think about the type of conversations that you can have on Twitter threads or in the YouTube comments section versus the kind of conversations that you can have in person. You can have so much more complex, nuanced dialogue in person, and you cannot online. It's much more difficult to online, and that just means that you can't have that necessary conversation to tackle so many of today's complex issues. Those are the three reasons he points out why trust is eroding. I'm going to add one more. This is my own, which is uncertainty. When things are moving quickly, when things are accelerating, there is simply so much more uncertainty to deal with. And when there's uncertainty, we have to have trust in each other. We have to have trust in the systems around us. We have to have a bit of faith, even that everybody around us is going to be making the right moves and in unison. Now, I include this photo down here in the bottom right. I was fortunate enough to give a presentation at my alma mater a couple weeks ago, and during this I got to talk to a couple dozen students after. And as I was talking to these students who were graduating from high school, getting ready to enter college, and preparing for what their majors are going to be and what career they're going to choose, there is more uncertainty, as you can imagine, than I've ever heard. And I'm guessing there are a lot of people that are in the audience today that have children that are trying to figure out what advice to give to people who are figuring out their careers, and it's so hard to know, right? That uncertainty is certainly higher than it's ever been before. So whose fault is it? I think it's very important to note that it is not the fault of any individual. It's not the fault of any single organization, whether it be a company or a government. it's really the fault of the systems. It's the systems that need to be upgraded and brought along with the pace of change that we see in technology and in our environment at large. So how do we restore trust, right? I pointed out this big glaring issue that's only getting worse. How do we restore trust? By upgrading our systems. And I'm going to point out two things in particular. Again, I'm referencing another book here, Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam, a book from about, I think, 2000. So, two ways that we upgrade our systems. One is bringing back nearness, right? Creating a sense of understanding, belonging, shared humanity through nearness. And number two is co creation, giving people a sense of shared ownership, transparency about what's going on, and instilling a sense of accountability again. So, how do we bring this into practice, right? How do we turn that solution into action? Four steps, four things that we are focused on as the AI collective. I'm not going to say this is the whole solution, but I do think this is an important part of the solution. How do we restore trust? One, by building nearness, understanding, and belonging, and shared humanity, as I said before, through events and community. Of course, bringing people together in person is the best way to build that sense of nearness again, a shared sense of understanding about the world. Two is creating forums for better attentional regimes, right? I told you about how it's really difficult to have that complexity and nuance in online discussion. Well, you can have that in person, right? By having in person discussion, there is that room for complex nuance, dealing with these critical issues, the challenges, and also the opportunities of our times. Now, this involves a lot of personal exploration, and that's where we start before we can get into tackling, okay, how do we solve this for all of society? Number three is hoisting those battle tested insights, those ideas, those sentiments from pioneers on the frontier, us, the people who are a few years ahead of things, and then harnessing that collective wisdom, giving that to the decision makers around us. And fourth is taking those insights and actually using those to upgrade our institutions and stewarding, acting as stewards for the society around us. Now, that's a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? That is a lot to do, and that's a lot for any community or really for a whole society to do. Now, if all else fails, I'm just going to read this Milton Friedman quote because it means a lot to me. It's also included in the founding perspective. Only a crisis, actual perceived, produces real change. When that crisis occurs, the actions that are taken depend on the ideas that are lying around. That, I believe, is our basic function to develop alternatives to existing policies, to keep them alive and available until the politically impossible becomes the politically inevitable. So, I told you I wrote this paper back in 2021. This was actually for a computer ethics course, and it was a senior course that I took. And ever since then, writing this paper and thinking about the societal side of all this technological progress, the developments in AI that we're seeing, I've been grappling with this challenge, this gap, right, for almost half a decade now. How do we as a society adapt to this technology that is moving so quick? And only I would say in the last few months, writing this founding perspective, this manifesto of sorts, do I feel confident that I found something that is more approaching as solutions? Systems don't fix themselves, right? And no individual within the system is fully incentivized to fix it. This is the same conclusion that Alvin Toffler came to in 1970. It's our responsibility first. Years in the frontier, the ones who are living in the future, who understand this technology, who are a few years in the future, who are thinking about its impacts, who are feeling its impacts first, who can come together to make a real difference here. So that's what this community is about. That's what we're working on together. The whole founding perspective is again available on the website. You can scan this QR code. You can also go onto the website to read that full Trust in the Age of Acceleration perspective. This is something that I've poured again years of thought into and would really appreciate once you have some time, maybe over the weekend, taking some time to read it and digest it. Because I think this is really important and what sets that deeper why for us as a community going forward.
That's our deepening why, right? Now I want to step back. We'll get a little more surface level and think about the implementation of this, right? What is that broadening scope that allows us to achieve this deepening why? So we have 4 new initiatives that we are announcing this week: the AI Collective Institute, Collective Investments, Singularity Fest, and News App. And now I want to bring a person on a time on stage to come talk about each one of these. And we're going to be starting with the AI Collective Institute. So if I could have Catherine hop on stage and come talk about the Collective Institute, that'd be great.
Everyone, I'm Catherine, the founding director of the Gen AI Collective. Thank you for the emojis. So, oh, wow, thank you. Might have to cover that off. Okay, you had your fun. Now I'm going to have mine. I'm very pleased to share a little bit about what we're working on with one of the new launch initiatives this week, the AI Collective Institute. So why are we launching this now? After hosting over 250 events in the past 2 years, something that has come up time and time again is that people want a voice. And from hosting all of these events, we've seen a groundswell of insight from our community to deepen their engagement from events into action. And so after building with the team over the last 6 months, we've built a collective vision around where we want the Institute to go. Next slide, Chappie. So what do we hope to achieve as the AI Collective Institute? Well, as Chappie was talking about in his founding perspective, Trust in the Age of Acceleration, our primary North Star is increasing global trust. Trust in each other, trust in institutions, trust in that we have a positive future that we are all building towards. So how do we get there? The first thing is to take our insights into action. So all of the conversations that are surfaced in all of our events, from summits to demo nights to AI soirees if you're based in DC, is to take those insights and have them, be lasting, not just from a moment in a conversation, but a space where we can actually have those enduring insights live on. We want to bridge the gap between the open dialogue and actionable outcomes. So we just don't want to write reports for the sake of writing them, but apply them through different projects. Ultimately, we want for everyone to be agentic. We want everyone to feel like they have agency at every level, from individuals in the audience right now to organizations that you are a part of. We're stronger together, and by having trust as our North Star, I think we can get there. So next slide. What's next? How you can get involved? Well, we are building a participatory research collective called the Signal Fellowship. To learn more about it, you can visit institute.aicollective.com and just hit join the movement or scan the QR code as seen on the screen. We are just getting started, and if you join now, you will be on the ground floor of a new era in AI research and participatory community research. So we would love to have you. Our team is small but mighty. Next slide, Chappie. You can reach out to, oh, someone misspelled my name. You can reach out to any of us here on the screen, myself, Catherine, Liel, who's our institute lead, alongside Noah Frank as well. So reach out to any of us over Slack, LinkedIn, or email, and we will get you plugged in. All right. Thank you so much.
Hey, everybody. My name is Supriya, and I'm here to present on collective investments. First of all, thank you so much to Catherine and Chappie for your presentations. It's really inspiring and exciting to see where the AI collective is going in this next chapter. So collective investments, what is it and why are we building it? So what collective investments is an opportunity for us to capitalize on the many of you that are building on the forefront of technology. You heard Chappie talk about taking action and us being pioneers on the frontier of innovation. We have 70,000 people. We're constantly growing. We're global. We're all over the place. We are all working on many things that really matter. And we see this tremendous opportunity to connect those ideas, those things that you all are working on to push the forefront of where AI goes and how it's going to serve all of humanity and how we're all going to evolve as a society. How do we connect the dots between those opportunities, those ideas, that sweat equity, all of the hard work, and inspiration that you all have as you identify problems that you see in your lives and in your world? How do we connect that to capital that you may need to be able to make those dreams a reality and those products that should exist in the world actually end up existing because we're able to accelerate those? And there's a lot of reasons why we were inspired by this opportunity as we saw many of you participate in many of our events. So I'll go through some of that, our origin story and what we hope to achieve. So what collective investments is in a nutshell. So what are we building? We are building, simply put, a matchmaking program. So we want to find these amazing founders who are building on the frontier, building all sorts of interesting, whether it's infrastructure or applications or interesting use cases across different facets of society, different types of industries, different types of functions, whether you're at the application layer or all the way down to the middle or somewhere in between. If you're building something that's pushing the forefront of AI, leveraging AI, really helping us further our mission of supporting the proliferation of AI for good, responsible adoption of AI for good, and increasing access to AI. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you, especially if you need help finding ways to accelerate that vision and making it a reality. And if you're an investor who's investing in this space, we want to hear from you too. We want to be able to not flood your inbox, but actually be really smart about how we curate and match really interesting, high caliber opportunities that we as a team are going to vet and bring forward to your inbox that hopefully match your thesis and provide these interesting opportunities to find diamonds in the rough that you may not normally see and help bring those bold ideas into the world. So call to action for mission-aligned founders and value-driven investors who want to back these types of founders. We'd love to work with you. Next slide. So a little bit about why we were inspired to do this. I'd say personally, the first demo night that I went to was back in December. And I noticed something there. Not only incredible demos, amazing companies, incredible founders presenting, but also really like a room full of not only founders, but actually investors. And then it was interesting to see the investors there actually. They were interested in learning more about the industry, learning more about the innovation that, our organization tends to bring to bear and bring on stage. But the connections are happening organically in those rooms. And on a personal note, it made me think, like, what if it wasn't just organic? What if we actually facilitated that and accelerated that somehow? So here's demo night by the numbers. And these are actually dated numbers. These are understated numbers because this is just based on what we could get through research and survey data. But as of March 2025, so these numbers are likely much larger now. This is demo night by the numbers. These are stats representing the companies that have demoed at our demo nights up until March 2025. So almost $1 billion in company valuation, almost 100 million raised post demo. These companies are, successful, being accelerated, and in a massive amount of way. And this is just monetary value. The actual societal value, hard to measure, but is probably also equally tremendous. What if we actually accelerated this? This is actually this is just pure organic growth. What if we actually accelerated this? And that's the provocation here. So, 70,000 members. I know that there's a lot of gems out there. Let's find those gems. Next slide. So this is a little bit about how it works. We would love to attract these founders who, all of you who are working on these products that are helping further the adoption of AI across society, across meaningful use cases. And what we want to do is identify you all, and we go through a rigorous screening process through a group of volunteers who all work in investing, and review those applications. And through that, we get to know the founders and have an opportunity to take the highest caliber founders that go through this program and then match them to investors who may be interested in investing based on their own thesis. So that in a nutshell is roughly how it works. And then lastly, I'll wrap up with, if you go to the next slide, please. Here's the team. Not me, but also Yehuda, who I'm sure you'll hear from as well. He made, if you saw the really awesome YouTube video, that was all Yehuda, and using AI tools, of course. And also Pierce, Mihir, Chappie, we're all involved together. And please feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any questions. But moreover, join us. Go to investments.aicollective.com. If you're a founder, please apply. If you're an investor, please join us. It's totally free, and we hope to accelerate this ecosystem with you. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It is my pleasure and privilege to be here. Truly honored to be able to talk to you all about one of our most ambitious initiatives that we're doing, Singularity Fest. Before I go into it, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ash Kumra, the head of community for AI Collective, and it has been a fun ride. I joined our organization last fall, and like many of us, like Chappie mentioned, we have over 100+ team members. I got hooked. I rolled up my sleeves at some of our initial events. I got to build, which I've told many people, my why for joining this group, many friends of all types of interests, of all diversity, of all, just from around the world. It's crazy. I could say I've actually made friends from 3 continents from this group. So this group is very, very special to me. It is more than just a organization where I get to flex my experience in building communities and entrepreneurship and media. It's something that's just like it's a bigger calling. And so I'm truly happy to be here. So if you can please go to the next slide, please. Okay, so I mentioned this now that we're doing something called Singularity Fest. And Singularity Fest in its simplicity is a decentralized event series that we are hosting in SF on November 3rd to 6th. It's the first of many that we're going to be launching across the world. But I wanted to first explain, why did we do this? This is a photo that was from a video shoot that we did a few months ago. It was for our launch video. It was a behind the scenes. But look at all the different people here. These different people represent, diverse views, diverse viewpoints on where we see AI going, the debates about which is the best which is the best program, which is the best LLM, which is the best technologies. Is AI going to, take jobs, not take jobs? It doesn't matter. We all are here collectively to unite the world on why AI needs to be a part of your life. And upon that, I realized with our team early in 2025 that, you know what, we need to do something different. We need to not just do the traditional conference series, which is fine. We attend many conferences. We have many conference partners, and we host many events, as Chappie mentioned earlier. We are probably the largest event producer of AI events on every month. I could confidently say that. But we wanted to do something that's more interactive, more unique, more festive. And so if you can include the next slide, please. Enter Singularity Fest. So that is why we came up with this concept of Singularity Fest, because we realized this is the time to unite everyone and not have it be controlled by any institution, any group, but have it be a decentralized kind of model where if you are a organization who wants to evangelize AI, we want you. If you are a nonprofit who has a cause that can tie up to our theme, we want you. If you're a sponsor who feels that you want to reach more targeted individuals who are passionate about AI, we want you. If you're a speaker who loves to talk about AI, we want you. If you want to be a volunteer and you just want to give back to what I feel is a very historic kind of event series, then we want you. And the way it's going to work is, and you will see more information over the summer on this, because again, we're launching this in SF November 3rd to 6th. It's going to be basically a series of events from November 3rd to 6th, all kinds of events. And some will be created just by us. Like for instance, we will be doing a opening series. We will be doing a closing fest party. That's why it's called Fest. And then we will of course be doing other key events like a pitch event. We're going to do a official hackathon. And then outside of that, we're going to work with all these different examples that you will bring to us, because we want to help power you guys, whether it's helping you find the venue, whether it's helping you find a food partner, whether it's maybe this is a killer idea that could be one of our flagship events throughout the week. That's fine. We are so open to this because we have not seen anything like this. And so for us, it's like, why not? Please go to the next slide. So what's next? I know it sounds like I gave a big sales talk on this event, but I'm passionate about this. Our team is passionate about this. We have a lot of people behind the scenes working to make this happen. And this summer, you'll be hearing a lot more about Singularity Fest. And the last slide I just want to share, if you could share that, is the different ways you can get involved, with a link to learn more about Singularity Fest. So again, you have partnership ideas, you have event ideas, you want to be a sponsor, you want to join our crew and be behind the scenes and make history, because as I mentioned in the beginning, our plan is to learn, build this, make it truly a fun, epic series, and then take this across to all of our different hubs later on, whether it's next year or the year after, and so to keep the Singularity Fest growing. But yeah, if you want to learn more, please look at that link, singularityfest.org. It's right there at the bottom. But yeah, there's a page there where you can sign up for if you want to host an event or if you want to partner with us. And if you want to volunteer, please put in the partner as well, because you're a value-added partner. But yeah, thank you so much again, Chappie and the team, for allowing me to share this presentation about Singularity Fest. Thanks.
You looking on stage? Hello. You're on. Fantastic.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt. I'm the head of product. I'm one of the AI Collective OGs, and I want to show you the news app. So this is a picture. It speaks for itself. I'm tired of being the guy at the bottom. Next slide. We're building the news app. Executive summary, it's going to be a personalized AI news aggregator, feature-rich web app. It's a scalable play. We're trying to hit the whole world here. Let's get a lot of people and a lot of dollars flowing through. We're solving information overwhelm and lack of personalization for people who want to keep up with AI news. The waitlist is dropping tomorrow. GA is dropping in a month. And we have a subscription business model, but early testers get in free. And there's a couple ways to do that. So vision statement. one line, where the world gets smart on AI. At the end of the day, everyone's curious about AI, and there's not really one place where you can go to figure out exactly what you need to know. So I want people who just joined the AI race to be able to say, hey, what's the latest news in AI over the last 6 months as it relates to gardening products and like shopping malls? I want people in other countries to be able to see a translation of, hey, what happened in the last 2 months when I woke up from my coma? So yeah, it's the place where the world gets smart on AI. So if you could hop ahead a couple slides, just one slide, I think a picture's worth 1,000 words. So yeah, this is a bit of a sneak peek. So this is meant to be a mobile view. Again, what we'll have is basically a summary of the news element. We'll have a impact score. Think of it as your AI Richter scale. How big of an impact did it make? If you expand any of these quick little headlines, then what you see then is a full summary where you get the key points and nothing else. If you want, you can chat with the article, learn more, understand additional resources, but this is the bread and butter of the product, a news aggregator. Next slide. This is what it looks like on the desktop view. We have a couple additional sections here. One is just an AI timeline. So if you ever just want to understand, hey, what's like the timeline of everything that's happened in AI? Like, oh, AGI just happened. You'll see it here. That's the timeline view. And then the other view is what we're going to call the indicators. So these are essentially just important data aggregations that people might want to see, and they'll be in visual format. Next slide. This is a quick sneak peek because this audience is so special. They get to see the future. A couple features. So one, click unsubscribe from all other newsletters you're on. Short form content. So think TikTok for AI education. You can just scroll and learn how to, I don't know, build like an AI agent because that's what you do when you're bored. Down the rabbit hole. So essentially article generation and then Q&A. Think like rag chatting, anything that's related to a single article. Indicators. What we want to do is make that open source so anyone can upload their data visualization. And then share my algorithm. What's Chappie's algorithm? I want to see what Howard's reading up on. And then if there's any other suggestions, really open to feedback. At the end of the day, we're building a product for you guys. So we want to know what you guys want. Next slide. So if you want to get first access, we're opening up the waitlist tomorrow. You can go to news.aicollective.com. In the interest of time, I think we can go to the next slide. You want to get that free 99 access, basically a free subscription for a year. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can repost our LinkedIn announcement tomorrow at 8 a.m. PST. You can comment on the announcement. And then if you want a lifetime free access, pretty cool. We're going to open that up to the first 50 people who sign up to be an internal beta tester. So it's different than the waitlist. There are certain expectations. Mostly I'll just ask them to test the product and send you some surveys from time to time. And then that's about it. So the link to that will be in the chat if you want to sign up for the internal beta testing. And again, we're going to give lifetime free access to the first 50 people to do that.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Well, last but not least, if I can get Howard on, I would love to chat more about probably the most crucial aspect of our last few months, which has been our movement onto Rome and how much we've been leveraging it ourselves over the past few months. So a quick fireside chat between you and me. Howard, do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Well, hello. I'm really happy to be here. You know, Chappie, I am a founder CEO and repeat serial founder CEO. Maybe some of you in the audience are. Prior to founding Rome, I started a company called Yext. And by the way, I don't think we need to share this premiere screen. We can stop whoever's screen sharing. Why don't you go ahead and stop that? There we go.
Yeah, go for it.
You know, and so prior to founding Rome, I've actually founded a bunch of companies, but I founded a company called Yext. And Yext now has about 1,500 people. It had a great quarter, which they announced yesterday, went up 31%. It's public. You can look at the stock and puts all the data in Google Maps and Apple Maps. So I would characterize myself as a serial entrepreneur out to do some damage in the world. And by the way, when you go public, you get to ring the bell at the stock exchange. And actually they give you this gavel. So I was, kind of up there at the New York Stock Exchange hitting this gavel about 7 years ago.
But I've got this incredible new company called Rome, which we're in right now. And that is the reason that we're having this conversation, Chappie.
Yeah, absolutely. And for us, as we've been expanding globally so rapidly these last few months, we were having a lot of trouble just coordinating as a global unit, right? With the team of over 100 people. And when we originally connected and when we got on Rome, I would say around March or April, it's simply been a magic bullet for us. And like I have joined you all for events. Like I'm the biggest advocate now for Rome because we use it for our all hands in the same theater you see here. We have all these offices for each of our cities, and it's been a godsend for us just coordinating everything we have.
Well, that's really cool, Chappie. You know, I was lucky enough to have met you at TJ, a fellow alma mater where we are approximately 50 years apart. But believe it or not, Chappie and I went to the same STEM high school in Northern Virginia called Thomas Jefferson, and we met through the basketball coach when I went back there to give a talk, and he just I started to hear about what was previously called the Gen AI Collective. Now it's the AI Collective, and I just thought that this was so incredible that we needed to find a way to partner together. And I'm glad to hear that we're solving your problems. You know, we went to market with Rome on, first off, by show of hands in the audience, how many of you are founders or thinking about founding a company? Give me like a wave or a clap if you're thinking about something.
Yeah. Got a lot. There we go.
Awesome. Okay. So let me tell you some things. First off, I feel you. Most of your days are going to be bad. They're going to be terrible things happening all the time. Mark Andreessen talks a lot about this. Elon talks about how starting a company is like chewing glass and jumping off a cliff into the darkness. You know, but the thing is, you have these, like, most days are like really, really bad, and then you have an occasional breakthrough. And for a moment, you have this high, which like is so strong that it like overweights all the negatives that have been tearing at you for a really long time. So my advice to you all, and I think AI is going to make possible anyone to become a founder much cheaper, much easier. Right? I mean, when we look at the ability to create apps, to be able to found companies from around the world, to bring people together from anywhere, my strong belief is that over the next few years, basically every business is either going to become an AI business or be disrupted by one. And you all have the potential to easily start it. It's easier than ever to start something. And this gets back to the singularity, whatever you want to call it. I'm actually reading a book from the 1950s where they call it the new sphere, where human consciousness becomes intertwined and then creates artificial intelligence. And then that basically brings together evolution in our species. And you all can start a company so easily. In fact, Chappie and I have come together to partner to make it possible for you to start a company, not just to have, you know, to set up, you create your product, your service, you create your website. You can now get this very platform in which you're sitting in right now, what we call an AI office. We've created a special super bundle for AI Collective members only. And here it is. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Go for it.
Oh, all right. So here's the Rome Super Bundle. By the way, this very auditorium, this very theater, you can host webinars in the theater. You can get a lobby where you can get a link that's like Calendly, except you can allow live drop-ins, because why would you want a customer to wait? They can just come in right now. You can grab a lobby link and have video conference meetings. The drop-in feature is here. So if you're available right now in Rome in your virtual office, by the way, here's the map. This is what this looks like. But you can get started with just 1 or 2 people. You get this theater where you can give webinars in, like we're doing right now. There's group chat, which I'll show you in a second. There's AI screen recordings, which you can use instead of Loom. You've got an fully built-in AI note taker, so you get full transcriptions of every meeting. You can prompt. And then there's going to be soon magic workflows and an AI assistant. And this is the super bundle exclusively available for you all through the Gen AI Collective. The AI Collective, you can get 30 days for free if you go through this link, which I'm going to ask someone to just post that in the chat to make sure you do that. By the way, look at this guy. I mean, look at that quote. Look at this cool guy right here. So we put this bundle, this super package together. It's literally everything you need in an AI office to get your business started from day zero. That's going to let you just do so many things. And the one demo I want to show you, it's actually 8 apps today, and it's soon going to be 10 apps for the price of one. And I just want to show you one cool thing. So this is what I see, because I'm a member, and here's my screen, and this is my group chat system. This is Rome's chat. It looks like Slack, but it has full team. It has direct messages, but it also has and group chats and threads and replies. But it also has all my meetings in here. In fact, here's the meeting we're in right now, and there's a summary of it. I showed up late, so it sent me a catch up. But you can tell here, they're not just meeting summaries that you can prompt, but there's action items. And by the way, these action items, which are sussed out, are automatically assigned to the person that's supposed to do them after a meeting. But even cooler is when sorry, that was Magicast, when your assistant thinks it can grab the action item and just do it for you. And so my assistant is named Zorton. You can configure your own AI assistant. And so it starts an agentic workflow right here. So if I click email, it will actually email this to Sean. And if I click schedule, it will actually schedule this budget meeting with Grace. And just to give you a quick live effect of that, here you can see, here's my assistant, here's some tools. And I can say, check with Sean and Tom about the budget meeting tomorrow. Ask if they are, actually ask Sean and Tom and Klaus what they got done today. And this is cool because it's a farm out. So this is my assistant, and I can just basically, here are the tools for my assistant. They can do meetings, they can send emails, they can do follow-up tasks. But this is all included in the Rome AI Collective Super Bundle. And you can see my AI here. I just said, hey, can you ask Sean and Tom? It's telling me I'm doing this. And look at this. It's chatting. Said, hey, Sean, can you provide a brief update? And hey, Klaus, can you provide a brief update? And hey, Tom, can you provide a brief update? And as they do that, I'm going to get a summary. I'm going to get responses. There's lots of complex, cool stuff you can do with this AI assistant. You can program your own. You can ask for meetings. You can add external tool calling if you wanted to configure your own custom load calling thing. Sean just replied, actually. He's currently watching the amazing presentation. Thank you, Sean. By the way, Sean and Tom also both went to Jefferson. So we're partnering with this group, with this incredible movement, because we believe in the promise of humanity to move civilization forward. And I think if you're considering starting a company, I believe fundamentally that you have a moral duty to do so. I think it is your imperative to get out there and advance civilization by founding something that you see, that what makes us uniquely human is our ability to create something from nothing, our ability to reflect, and our ability to imagine. And if you're imagining something and you have a vision for something, maybe it's a company, maybe it's a product, maybe it's writing, maybe it's an idea. No one else has that idea but you. It's in your head. And the best way for you to put a dent in the universe is to somehow manage to take that idea or vision or fleeting wind out of your head and put it out into the world for other people to use and experience. And that is the most noble cause of humanity. That is how we advance civilization. And that is why we are partnering with the AI Collective to help startups easily get going in the best possible technology with the best ways so that you can put your dent in the universe.
Wow. That was so beautifully put. Howard, thank you again for everything, for getting us here, helping to get us here. This collaboration means everything, and so looking forward to everything to come going forward.
Thank you all.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll quickly show this QR code if you want to learn more, if you want to see that website that we just showed. Scan that, please. What this means for you. what does this new launch mean for you? Well, you're part of the very beginning. You've been here since the start. You've attended, including this event, one of the very first events. So thank you so much for being a part of this magic. Thank you for being a part of the world's most passionate, impactful AI community. If you want to celebrate with us and commemorate your status as a founding member, that opportunity is still open. There are 2 steps to doing so. The first is attending this event or some other global launch event. You've already done the hard part. The second part is you guys go look on that website. The next step is there. It's just engaging with the big celebration posts that we have on LinkedIn. If you are interested in any of the things we talked about today, any of the new initiatives, we're here to take questions. We're here to fill that as well. Reach out to any of us on Slack, on LinkedIn. We're all available. Finally, take some time to read The Trust in the Age of Acceleration. Explore more deeply our why. It's going to take some time to digest, but highly recommend you do so. And want to say one last thank you. I'm going to keep this QR code up for a couple minutes, and I don't actually, since we're going over time, I don't think we're gonna have time for Q&A. Really sorry about that. This was obviously just so jam-packed, but thank you again for being here one last time from all of us, and look forward to meeting you in person at future events or just seeing you around in general.